Hi guys, welcome back. We're doing Motorhead on Monty Style. Today we are going to do the 2015 Corvette Z06. The Z06 for 2015 is one of the fastest street cars on the road. This is a 6.2 V8 engine. And horsepower is 625. That's incredible. But what is making the Z06 really popular for 2015? An all aluminum frame and chassis, which is really cool. But what I am enjoying about the Corvette for 2015 is that off the line, it has a great launch pad that when you're hitting the gas off the line, 3.6 seconds in 0 to 60. Now the Z02 starts out at $63,000 and can end up at 90, but it is an American muscle car. It has been here since 1957? If I'm not correct, just hit me up on my website and so let me know if the date was 1952. But I am correct. I think it's 1957 when the Corvette first appeared at the New York Auto Show. So I had spoke about the Stingray 2014, which is the car of the year. So we're going to take a quick view on all of the Z06. This is the 2015 Z06. If you notice, a couple of years ago, Corvette was making a very muscle powerhouse car, but something that they were lacking was style and good quality. If you take a look now, Corvette and Chevrolet has really upped their game. If you notice, it's not cheap anymore. Nothing is looking like it's just all plastic. I like to show you some of the things that is really popular in a really expensive car. We have carbon fiber on top of the roof, which is removable. And right here, we have carbon fiber bottoms, which is excellent. And this means that they're just making the car a little bit lighter with all of the carbon fiber on the car. So if you want to take a look, Corvette has all their badging in. And what I'm really appreciating about the Corvette is that if you look at the doors, it's not plastic anymore. They have really good stitching, really good nice leather. It's come a long way, because Corvette, you would actually see a lot of plastic everywhere, dark plastic, hard plastic. But if you take a nice little peek in, you will see that Corvette has upped their game to a higher quality.
A friend of mine took a lot of pictures of this car.
Hi guys, and welcome back to Motorhead. Today we are standing in front of 3Z06, and today I have a great person to tell me all about the Z06. I mean, he's a little fascinated by them too. And his name's James. Hi James, how are you?
Fantastic. Thanks for having me on, Monty.
It's nice to have you. So, can you give me a few little new ideas about the Z06?
Sure. Well, first off, what we've introduced here at the New York Auto Show is the convertible version of the Z06. So now you're looking at the most powerful production Chevrolet convertible ever produced. To start off, as you and I were just talking about, you'll see the supercharged engine is listed at 625 plus horsepower, because we're still doing final certification on the engine and expect to probably get a few more ponies out of it this time.
Wow, I've been corrected, because I said 625 horsepower. Now he's telling me 625 plus. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, plus is always a good thing. So yeah, first off, the convertible being the most powerful that Chevrolet's ever produced. I think the Z06, where it's had its biggest impact in the enthusiast press, is the fact that the ZR1 was the king of the Corvette line in the previous generation. It had 645 horsepower, something like 650, something like that. Now, and the Z06 had, of course, 505. So now, all of a sudden, the Z06 is in ZR1 territory. And in fact, around our Milford Proving Ground, the Z06 is substantially faster than the old ZR1 was. So it really is showing an impact of the aerodynamics, the lighter weight materials, the aluminum frame that we're standing by here. It really is a thoroughbred, where the old generation was, a very fast horse, but didn't like corners nearly as much as this one does.
So my question is, off the line.
Yeah, 0 to 60 about 3.5 seconds.
And torque?
Plus, we're saying 635 plus. So again, we're going to
Another
squeeze that
plus.
out. Yeah, I love those pluses.
So is this a automatic stable control while driving, or can I take it off?
You're insane. Why would you do that? But yes, of course you can. Yeah. In fact, to be very blunt, I have a Stingray as my company car right now back home.
Oh wow, I'm jealous of you.
Jealous. I got very lucky. I was expecting the Chevy Spark. I got a Stingray instead. And I've taken the stability control off, of course, and it only has 460 horsepower. And I've taken the stability control off, and it's a lot. I mean, it's a short wheelbase car, and that's what I think was fantastic about it, is that, with the way electronics are today, there's the drive select mode, so you can go from eco, which is going to turn the 4 of the cylinders off as much as possible to get the best fuel efficiency. You've got tour mode, which keeps the stability control on pretty aggressively, and drives in kind of the day-to-day mode. Then you've got the sport mode, which opens up some baffles in the exhaust, and I leave it in that mode because it just sounds so much better, especially when you turn it on.
Yes.
Scares the neighbors, the dogs bark. It's fantastic. And then of course track mode on top of that, which has the least amount of electronic control. But I really believe, I mean, you're obviously a driver like I am. While it's fun to get a little squirrely and stuff,
yes.
It's more fun to know that the car will let you do it, but not let you go wrong. Let the electronic nannies do their job, especially when they want to have fun too.
Right. But I heard on the dyno that once you take this off, that this thing is a monster, that it like swerves, it like spins you around, but it doesn't go off-road, it doesn't turn over, but it's uncontrollable.
Well, it's a lot of horsepower. I mean, and the big discussion now is what's going to happen with the ZR1 model, if there will be one. I can tell you that we're definitely working on a ZR1, but there becomes a funny place where when you start getting into mega horsepower, then you have to look at the dynamics of the chassis. That's why Ferrari doesn't have a bunch of 900 horsepower cars, because that's just too much horsepower at some point. But we have some very astute car guys now in charge of this company, so I think you'll see some good stuff.
Are they European based, or?
Corvette's a very American
all
thing.
American.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to talk about. How Chevrolet has always been nothing but USA, American. And I'm not trying to say anything, negative about other things. I'm just saying this is a Corvette. This is US made.
Well, let's think of it this way too. With the old Corvette, it was a good car, lots of power, a lot of fun, and it was a really inexpensive price compared to the competition.
Yes, it was like $53,000 starting.
That's right. I think with the new Stingray, it's just as good, if not better than the competition. And that price is just a bonus. It's not one of the reasons you buy it. It's just like, plus it's inexpensive. And when you think about the the Z06, it will meet or exceed the performance of Porsche 911 turbos, of entry-level Ferraris, of Vipers, you name it, at half or a third of the price. And by the way, if something does break down, there's a Chevy dealer probably on the nearby corner, and he's got parts in stock. He doesn't have to send them away to Italy or Germany or something like that.
Totally agree.
Won't cost you, you don't have to refinance your house to fix the car.
So my next question is about the aluminum frame.
Sure.
Why did Corvette go into an aluminum frame?
Couple reasons. First and foremost, the industry in general is under a lot of pressure to increase fuel efficiency.
To make things lighter.
make things lighter. If a car's lighter weight, then it doesn't take as much energy to push it down the road.
Right.
So that was the first thing. And aluminum has really proven itself in sports cars to be a great material of choice. It's very strong, especially when it's engineered correctly, but then obviously very light as well.
And isn't it a cost efficiency too?
Oh yeah, well it costs more to produce and work with the aluminum than it does cold rolled steel, which is similarly strong and light. But I mean, the Corvette's all in. You know, it's not. We're not cutting corners on this. It's got to do it right. And so aluminum was obviously the first choice. I mean, it's just, and you're going to see more and more of it. Our experience with aluminum here allows us to maybe put it into Camaros and Chevy Cruzes and other vehicles in the future, because it's a little bit of a more interesting material to work with, but it's smart.
Now, introduce me to this brand new Z06. Tell me what is so different about it, because one thing that I've noticed is carbon fiber, and it's impressive.
Yeah, a lot of carbon fiber on this. That's, you know, we talked about aluminum being an important material for production of cars, especially sports cars. Carbon fiber is the holy grail. Stronger than any of the materials, much lighter weight. In fact, the target top on this, as you can see, has actually got exposed carbon fiber here.
Yes.
The old top on the C6, I think, was like 40 or 50 pounds, composite material. This one's 14 pounds. So right there, you've reduced weight, high weight, which is hurts your handling.
Yes.
As much weight, you want all your weight to be down low as possible and spread low. So yeah, carbon fiber, and it looks damn cool too.
Yes.
So let's go for that. I mean, you can see it's even on trim levels on the inside.
Yes, I have noticed on the inside. But that's another question I wanted to say, is that years ago, Chevrolet wasn't doing interiors very well.
Oh yes.
And I have to say, for the last 2 years, Corvette has upped their game. I see a lot of high end. So let's talk about that.
Absolutely right, especially in Corvette. I think that, you know, any review you saw or anytime you got a ride in one,
It's very hard plastic.
yeah, great motor, handled well enough, but it's like you were sitting in a Chevy Cavalier or something like that. It was, and the company just wasn't their main focus. Also, the seats were not very good, especially in a sports car where you're going to be going back and forth. But that's, you know, really, I think the interior, not just the Corvette, but so many of our vehicles now, that's where you live. That's where you sit down with your friends to show off your car. That's where you're in, if you live in Los Angeles like I do, you're stuck in traffic and you're staring at that dash all day long. So there was a focus within the company to make sure that the dashes or the interiors were effective, that they didn't break down, that they were easy to use, that they didn't cause a problem. Well, in that energy, they lost all the design, they lost all the thrill, they lost the ability to make something that you're proud to be staring at as you're in traffic. And that's where the company's really changed philosophically. And the Corvette interior, I mean, it's fantastic. And when it's cliche to say in a sports car that it's cockpit infused. This one truly is. The driver has a completely different view and experience than the passenger.
Right, actually it is cockpit friendly, because I think everything about this new Corvette is so hands-on. I can reach without reaching.
That's right. No, it's all right where you want it. I mean, the drive select control is just below the gear shift, so as you're cruising along and you think, oh, here comes an ability I can really open it up, shift gear, track mode, done. So it really is simple but effective.
One thing I've noticed about Corvette, though, is that they are still doing manual shift.
Yeah, 7-speed manual on this car, which is a bit of a rarity. I mean, Ferrari and Porsche and the other high-performance cars,
All paddle shifts.
all paddle shift. Yeah, now the reason for that is it's faster. In fact, our 6-speed and 8-speed gearboxes in this car are faster from 0 to 60 than the manual gearbox, and that's driven by guys who are better drivers than you and I.
Right.
So ultimately, and that's why Ferrari and Porsche and Lamborghini and everybody else is doing it, is that the computer-controlled multi-speed gearboxes are going to be faster than a human with their foot in their hand. So, but you still want that control, and it sure makes doing burnouts a lot easier too.
I was just going to say, because most...
I knew where we were going. You and I should go for a drive.
Yes, we will. I'm make your bet on that.
All right, good.
All right, so let's go over to the convertible. Okay, now we're at our third vehicle, which is a beautiful color. What color is this?
I believe somebody told me it's Le Mans blue.
Le Mans Blue, I like that.
Yeah, and of course the C7, the 7th generation race car, the C7R, is up for Le Mans this year. It's been a consistent winner in the old generation.
Wow.
Based on what we've learned about this car, it should do just fine in Le Mans this year too.
I'll be watching.
Yeah, me too. I want to be there.
Wow.
I
I'm
want
going to
to.
give you my email
Well,
address.
I didn't say I'm there. I'm working on it.
So, have you taken any one of these out on the dyno?
Not myself, unfortunately, but no. I mean, obviously, whereas as we talked about earlier, they're still finalizing certification on the motor. So yeah, they're constantly tweaking it. But it's I have heard this car running and revving, and it just sounds the beast. It's really fantastic.
Now, once again, I was talking about the interior. So that is a different interior than this one here, because this one has more suede.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing about the interiors on these cars. They can really be kind of kitted out the way you want them to be, whether you want them to be really aggressive, red leathers, and really, jump out at you, really make a design statement. Yellow leathers can be had, so it's very customizable on the inside. Or you can also kind of back it down and have it just be more subtle. And in this case, that is it. The one I think that looks the best, though, is the white exterior with the red leather interior, which actually goes back to the 1953. So that's just right.
So then, to correct my statement earlier, I said 1957, and it's actually 1953.
Well, the original was 53, but it was on 57 still. Yes.
I thought so.
He's halfway there.
All right, so I have one complaint. I think the car is absolutely incredible. I love the new design. I love that Corvette has upped their game, but I think they made one little flaw.
What's that?
Is that you have carbon fiber everywhere, but why not put it back here?
You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I believe that it is an option, or this might be carbon fiber. No, this is still a composite. I believe that is an option.
Okay.
And don't hold me to that. But did you notice, though, that it's so high that this part is a clear
Yes.
panel here, because for traffic safety, you couldn't see over the thing, so we had to have it there. And it's adjustable. This whole thing can adjust as well. But I would bet the farm that there is a carbon fiber one available, because it would look really good.
Well, I would like my fans to know I don't want you to tweet me or put it on the blogs that I said something negative about your Corvette. I'm just asking one question: if this carbon fiber shouldn't have been here.
He's right.
That's it.
He's right.
So pop the hood, because everyone wants to see, is it still the original opening of the hood?
Actually, it comes from... comes up from this side now. So there you go. That's a lot of power in a very small space.
Wow, guys, if you could just be here. Can you feel my foot want to hit the pedal?
Well, that makes two of us.
So, James, is there any information that you want to give the Motorhead fans?
I think it's just that the Corvette has always been that close. It was a great car, but it wasn't perfect. I think what we've seen in some of the early reviews and some of the early buyers is that this car, in many ways, and I don't want to sound too pompous here, but it's pretty damn good. It's pretty perfect. In fact, there was just a review done by an English car magazine. They did a video, and I enjoyed it a lot, because the English press is, they're good drivers. They've got great cars to play with, but they've always kicked around the Corvette. The Yank tank, they called it. It's not quite there. They compared not even the Z06, but just a standard Stingray Z51 package. From a handling perspective, they put it up against the Audi R8, which all-wheel drive, center, midship engine, beat it. They then, for acceleration, from 30 to 100, from 20 to 80, all these different real-world driving experiences against a Porsche 911 Carrera S, beat it.
Wow.
And then from a sound perspective, just the visceral, living with the car perspective, they put it up against the new Jag R-Type. No, wait, am I saying the right way? No, the F-Type R.
F-Type R.
Yeah. Beat it.
Wow.
And at the end of the review, the guy was like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but those are 3 serious competitors, and in those tests,
Yeah.
the Stingray did it. And again, that was just the standard Stingray. So I think that's the biggest thing, that this is a car that is truly world class for the reasons you pointed out in the refinement on the interior and the expected performance and the handling. It's a car that anybody who's ever considered Corvette can be very proud to reconsider.
Well, I just want to give you a little bit of information from what Top Gear, those guys from England, has talked about.
I know those guys well. They're
Yes. Well, I guess they got their hands on one.
good. I would think so.
And usually, because for the 13 and 14, they had horrible reviews. They said really negative things.
That's right.
This time around, they had nothing to say. They wouldn't even comment. They just said that they was how can I say this? Right. He said it was like having a bull in a china shop.
Fantastic.
And he couldn't control it. That was his exact words.
Okay.
And then after that, he said he doesn't want to say anymore because he's never given a Corvette a positive reaction.
Well.
So that feeds me jealousy.
Yeah, because he had a good experience. Yeah. And he's a tough customer too.
Yeah, yes, he is, and a little biased to their own cars.
Indeed, yes.
Right, and most Americans, we love all cars, muscle cars.
No, but they definitely. I think the European reviewers always and buyers are very connected to vehicles having heritage and legacies and racing and all that sort of stuff. And Corvettes had it, but the car you could buy was not quite as good as this one.
Right. So my last question is, what is the biggest thing about having sports cars in America?
I think, for the Chevrolet brand, it's about having that flagship out there. I mean, from a business perspective, guys will tell you, well, if people like the Corvette, then they might stop at the dealership and they can't afford the Corvette, but they'll look at a Camaro or look at an Impala or they'll look at, that's the kind of boring part. For me, I think it's just the pride of a company to have a flagship vehicle. I mean, we see that with Ford right now. They're redoing their Mustang and they're very proud of it. And it's a very beautiful car, so they should be proud. But especially 60 years of Corvette now, it's deep in. I mean, everybody has a Corvette story.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, I'll tell you mine real quick. I think I was about 8 years old. My best friend across the street, Dad comes home one Friday afternoon, white Corvette. What year was it? Well, I date myself here. I think it was like in 1977 or something like that. White Corvette, red leather interior. Now, to be fair, the 77 was not the best of the Corvette, but
it was beautiful though.
To an 8-year-old kid, it looked like a Hot Wheel.
Right.
And I just went crazy for it. It probably fueled a lot of the passion that I have for being in the car industry today. The funny part about that was 2 months later, and he took me for rides in it, and I just thought it was the greatest thing ever. 2 months later, the car was gone. Well, I was 8 years old. I didn't really think about that. Come to find out later, when I'm an adult and can ask adult questions, was that he bought the car without telling his wife. And 2 months later, it was gone. So everybody's got a Corvette story. They saw one in their high school parking lot.
Yes.
My buddy's dad had one. You got a ride in one, and it shook you up. And I think this car will shake you up as well.
I think my first experience with Corvette was a movie called Cleopatra Jones. And she drove a Corvette, and in the doors were all of her machine guns. That's when I was.
we don't try to advertise that too much.
Really? You really should.
Yeah.
James, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Stay a Corvette man, and just do me one favor. Say, hey now, someone else to Motorheads.
Hey now, to what does it say? Hey now, Motorheads?
Hey now, someone now.
Hey now, someone out, Motorheads. Let's go.
There we go. Thank you, James.